Cold gang. First round draft pick.
Welcome to another episode of Cold Game. I'm your host, Isaiah Dotson. I'm here with my co-host, Malcolm Bennell. Cuz, what it do?
What it do, cuz?
I'm feeling good, cuz. I can't complain one bit. How you feeling?
Man, feeling good, man. Just got back off that road, man. Shot down to Cincinnati, took the family to Great Wolf Lodge for a couple days, and that's why we haven't been on for the past couple days. So my apologies to our avid viewers, but I needed me a little spring breakation. But how about you guys?
You're feeling good. It's crazy because the plan was to go live when you there, but when you there in the action, it'd be hard because I'm already knowing.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Definitely, like I said, I got a toddler, so just dealing with her and just putting her in a different environment, sleeping in a hotel, and it was just different. So, it was a good time. Good time. Went swimming. I got to show you. I got to post a meme of when people say they going swimming. It's really you just crouching down at the bottom of the pool walking. It's not really you ain't in there Michael Phelps or nothing. You just crouching in that pool walking. But. It was cool because did a little shopping at the outlets and came on back home.
It's always tricky and risky when you're in that public pool with a whole bunch of other people, man. I just be thinking the worst every time I'm in that pool. I look around and see who in there with me, man. Just make sure ain't nobody in there doing nothing trifling.
Right, man. Hopefully they got the dye in the pool, I will say this. I don't know. Somebody was like Band-Aid bombing the pool. Every time it was a bunch of just raw Band-Aids floating around there. But I'm like, what the fuck is that?
That's what I hate seeing that.
Hey, but you're dealing with a bunch of kids, man. You ain't no telling what they in there doing, to be honest. But yeah, they was Band-Aid bombing the fucking Band-Aid bombing the hell out of that pool. Man, I don't know who was taking off their Band-Aids in there.
You had your eyes open though, cuz every move you making.
Oh yeah. I definitely wasn't letting the water get in my mouth, I'll tell you that.
I swear to God. That's what's up, cuz. Yeah, I ain't been on nothing, man. Yesterday, I was watching that game because I was watching Tyrese show out. Tyrese, he really had one of the nastiest oops I done seen in a long time, cuz when they threw it to him up court.
Oh man.
He backpedaled bounced off the floor. Dude called it. That was so nasty, man. The OB Toppin called it, man. Really, cuz we make it look so easy when we doing it. You feel me? It'd be a good sight to see.
Right, yeah. Now that's definitely a nasty play. Just having Halliburton moonwalking down the court and then just bouncing up to Toppin. Toppin might be one of them guys, man. He might be, after I don't know how long he plans on being in Indiana, but he might be one of them great dunkers that come out of Indiana up there with the Fred Joneses and who's give me your three best Indiana dunkers, cuz.
Definitely Fred Jones, Vic, and Obi. And PG, we can't forget about PG though, man. We might have to take Fred off the list, man. I fuck with Fred, but we might have to go PG, Vic, and then Obi.
So you taking Fred off the list?
I'll take Fred off the list, man. PG did that reverse. He did that 360, cock back. That was trifling. That really put us on the map. And then Vic, I mean, is Fred Jones replacing Vic?
When Vic was in the dunk contest, was he in Indiana or was that when he was in Miami?
No, he was in Orlando. He was in Orlando.
Okay, I'll give him that just because he slid through. But yeah, you can't argue with that. All of them done put on some great dunk contest performances, though. That's for sure.
And we speaking on the history. We had a very special guest in the building. This on our last episode. My Uncle Brian, he was in the building. Malk's Pops. We was speaking on the history of the game, history of basketball, history of football. And when you got that type of wealth of knowledge, it really makes me think like, how far back does my knowledge of the game go? Because Unc was talking about the 80s and the 70s. You know, when you really think about it, cuz man, because we newer generation. You know, we the middle child. You know, we ain't the young ones, but we ain't the OG. You know, just quite yet. But in your opinion, cuz who who's really changed your perspective on the game of basketball? Who was that really made you fall in love with the game?
Man, it's a compilation, man. Of course, my pops. You know, of course. I mean, just being around him and living with him my whole life. I mean, any sport. You know, we wasn't allowed to watch TV. You know, Monday through Friday, but we was allowed to watch sports. So that kind of puts things in perspective. So that's all I could watch. You know, was basketball, baseball, football, soccer, whatever. But as far as basketball concerned, my pops will be the first person who I would say introduced that to me. But really, y'all, man, my cousins, my big cousins, my cousin Kendall Aldrich. You know, y'all was always my inspiration as a kid. You know, I was a football player in my life, but in my mind, I was a basketball player. So,
straight up,
you know, one of my early fondest memories was, you know, y'all coming over to my crib, you know, and us going down to German Church Park and hooping and running all summer. So I knew if I had my cousin Isaiah or my cousin Kendall with me, we was gonna be running that court for a minute. So
let me tell you about this, because you had the court out in front of your house, and shout out to who was it, cuz that came out there and broke that rim, man. When they broke that rim, they broke my heart.
Dude by the name of James Clardy, I think was his name. He played big man at Warren back in like 2008. We stayed out there hooping in the driveway. He was walking down the street, probably on his way to German Church one day, and he wanted to hop in the game and came and tore our rim down. I'm like, just tore our rim down. Just yammed it. It was a nasty yam, you know what I'm saying? I'm 33 years old now, and I'm still remembering this. But yeah, you know, he definitely tore our rim down.
The crazy thing is, he just happened to be walking through the neighborhood, and he just stopped the hoop for a little bit. He came and yammed on the rim, took the rim down, set the rim on the ground. He just walked off. And here we are, all of it. We like 4 deep out there. The rim on the ground. We like, what we gonna do now?
Yeah.
The garage is open. All we saw was that bench press.
Right.
That was the next day. Okay. The rim is gone. We're gonna go in here and lift some weights.
Right. We was trying to get back in there on that video game, but you know, they wouldn't let us in that house. You know, they had them doors locked. Y'all stay outside.
Oh man. And the crazy thing is that, hey, it wasn't even know you need some water because the refrigerator was in the garage.
Right.
Ain't no need to go back inside the house.
Everything that you need is outside of the house. Right. So, yeah, don't come back in here.
Oh man. Hey, yo, cuz, man. So I'm talking about, but when you looked on the TV, cuz, who was the first person on TV you said that inspired you when you was watching that game?
Playing basketball?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Shaquille O'Neal. Period. I mean, that's I mean, from a very young age, that's who I mimic my game after. You know what I'm saying? I was, you know, back to the basket hooping. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't know. You know, I learned. I eventually learned how to dribble, and I had a little mid range on me, but I was low post back to the basket, trying to, you know, drop step on you. That was the only thing I had in my repertoire, was that drop step. I was gonna lean on you, back you down, and drop step you every time. I had one move. Send me to the free throw line. The thing is, I would hit my free throws though.
Hey, yo, cuz, man, we were just talking about it before you got on stream too, cuz, you know, we grew up idolizing the big fella Shaq, like you said, was one of your favorite players. Shaq was my favorite player growing up, man. But as a big fella, cuz, man, where we go shopping at, man? Where we going? If we got some gear that we need to get, where does a big fella to go get some fly gear, man? Because I feel like for us, the options be limited. You know, if I want to go get flies, it's only a certain couple places that, you know, that we can go get fly at, man. Where you want to get your gear at?
Man, it's definitely scare the internet. You got to scare the internet. You got to always come up to new things. Because one thing about me, I don't like wearing a lot of stuff that other people got. What I'm saying? Unless it's just like a casual dress down, I don't care. But if I'm trying to get fresh, sometimes I don't like giving out my sauce, but I'll go to DXL for sure. That'll probably be one of my first stops. I hit DXL, definitely to get my polo. I like hitting the outlet malls who carry the big and tall. And if I walk into any store, the first question I ask is, where's the big and tall section? Yeah, I say I ain't got one. I say, man, y'all discriminating, man. I'm gonna file a complaint like the chick from Uber who they wouldn't let her in the car.
Oh man.
I will file a complaint. But nah, yeah, I probably hit up DXL, man. That's really my go-to. But other than that, man, whatever I can, whatever I can scare the internet, it's hard out here for a big guy, man, to get fresh, man. So when y'all see us getting fresh, man, y'all need to commend us, man, because it wasn't easy.
Especially when you see us with some shoes on, man. You see me with some fresh sneaks on, man. Be like, ask me where I got them from. That made me feel good because it'd be hard to find them, man. I swear. Man. We can't go with a Foot Locker finish line. Man, it seems like when I go to Foot Locker finish line, I really got to ask them, man, what shoes you got in size 15? That's the first question. What you got in 15? I don't wait because the shoes that's on there, I can't go in there and pick.
Right.
So they got to bring out every size of 15 they got in the back, bring it out, set them down, open the box. This is what we got. If I see a pair I like, I'm gonna get it. If I know, I just keep it pushing. But if it comes down to it, they got some forces. I'm getting some forces off the rip though.
Right, yeah.
Some all white forces. I rock those every time.
Shout out to Forces, man. Forces always had it like, I'm in a size 17, cuz so there's nothing. I walk in the store, they just laugh at me. They're like, get out of here, man. They're like, you can go order something online. We have nothing in here. I was just down at the outlets in Cincinnati. As soon as I walked to the Nike store, I went right to the little girl. Hey man, where y'all size 17s at? She looked at me and said, not in here. Hey, they're here. You can keep it pushing. I'm like, damn, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, yo, and the thing is, nowadays, cuz it seems like the older I get, I'm looking for my size. It don't matter where it's at. The only place I really want to look for no shoes is in like Macy's. You feel me? I go to Macy's and or department stores or you feel me? I'm not gonna look for nothing in there. Not the off brand. Maybe if I'm in Burlington, I'll be trying to see if they got something that that because it ain't the shoe that's gonna make you. I'm gonna make the shoe. That's what I be telling myself in my head. I can make any shoe, except for some Shaqs.
Yeah. I gotta have a check on it or something, man. They gotta but the thing is though, if you really my mom and there's a couple of people out there who be on the lookout for me who be in like Ross and stores like that. You'll find you some. I done came up off a couple pair of retros in there, just in my size. I don't know how they ended up here. How did these retro Fords end up in Ross? They might not be real. I don't know, but I'm gonna grab them for the $30
off the rip. Off the rip. I was in the Nike outlet, man. I was looking for some shoes, and he said, "I got you, man." He came out the back, cuz he had he brought me some retros, man. I was so happy when he brought those out, man. I said, "Oh yeah, them is the ones." I got them in the back. I only wore them one time. Yeah, that's what's
my favorite shoe just dropped, man. I was so devastated, cuz, man, because nowadays, the joint releases ain't like back when I was in high school or college days. Like, we'll pull up. I know Saturday morning, I'm getting up early. I'm pulling up. I had my guys. Shout out to my guy Cortez. He was had Foot Action on lock for me back in the day, so he was really my go-to plug, for all my shoes. But now everything is digital, so you gotta get up, get on the app and hope that you get a spot. So but I was trying to get them metallic files, man. I'm still waiting on the re-release. Like, I want them to re-drop them, man. That's my favorite Jordan of all time, the metallic files. And when they did the rebrand and re-release on them and I couldn't get them, I was just devastated, man. I was like, but I'm thinking like, damn, why do I feel bad that I couldn't get this man my $200? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where you got a problem. But I wanted them shoes though, that's for sure. And I couldn't get my hands on them.
All right, cuz let me ask you this too, cuz the weekend is quickly coming up too, man. And this weekend we got some great games on deck. We got Florida versus Auburn. We got Duke versus Houston. What game are you looking forward to seeing the most? And who's your picks?
And that's both of them games is gonna be some crazy games. Florida versus Auburn, Duke versus Houston. First off, I'll say my picks for them winners are Florida and Duke. I think the only underdog really in these Final Four is really might be Houston, and they're not an underdog, and they scored about good. And I just say underdog just because they're going up against Duke, and I think Duke has the most complete team in college basketball. They have a team top to bottom. They have a killer at every position. So that's my pick to win that game. But Houston's not going to be an easy go because they can score that rock. And then that Auburn-Florida game, Florida just has straight killers out there. You know, that's all it needs to be said. Walter Clayton Jr., we've been talking about him a lot for the past few months. You know, just automatic killer from deep. But Auburn, you know, they got some killers too, and they put up points. So that'll definitely be a good game. And I want to see how Florida bounce back after trailing so much in that last game in their Elite Eight game that they just had. And they had to come from behind, and they finished the game, but you know, they was definitely trailing. So if they don't come out hot, Auburn's not a team that you can, you know, come out slow and think you're gonna just pick it up at the end. So we'll see how that goes. That you know, I know that's your team because I got my Florida shirt ready. I'll be wearing it on our next pod, but I ain't gonna say upset alert, but that could be a you know, these is all top, you know, what ain't they all number one seeds?
All number one, all heavyweight
all
matchups.
Number one seeds is a heavyweight bout. So it ain't no Joe Schmoes out there.
Because I gotta ask you another question, man. Some crazy happened again. I just don't understand why it keep happening. Why is Jai out there pointing the pistol and making the gun? What's wrong with dude, man? Bro, what's wrong with you, bro? Hey, when he did that, man, I was like, man, all I could do was shake my head. Hey, he must have a complex with pointing guns. Not even real. I mean, he had them on live, but he on the court pointing fake guns at people, man. Bro, you was just suspended for multiple games for that same reason. Why you pointing the chopper at him? Hey, yo, somebody point the chopper at me while I'm on the court, and they point their hands to me. I'm gonna let it slide. I mean, what that really mean?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? We playing? We ain't kids. You point you making a gun gesture at me. That don't mean nothing to me, man. Especially when that cheese on the line. You right. Come on, man. That really, and knowing your history and knowing what you already lost behind that. Come on, bro. I expect better from you, man. What you think about that, cuz?
Man, just young and stupid, man. Like, I mean, what are you doing? Like, everybody, you know, there's this infatuation with the streets and guns, and you know, guns are built for one thing, and that's to kill people. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, maybe you're using it in a hypothetical way, like, you know, when I'm referring to somebody as on the court and they doing their thing, I say they killing. You know, that's a killer, you know, so maybe in that sense. But when you got a rap sheet of, you know, you holding up pistols on live and you bringing pistols here and there, like, come on, man, y'all dudes is multimillionaires, man. Y'all not, and I can't say y'all not living that life. I can't say what y'all doing outside of that basketball court, but leave that outside the basketball court. You know, don't put that in the public image. I got real kids looking up to y'all, man. And y'all on the sideline wearing shiesty masks and stuff like that. I mean, I guess that's the drip. Maybe I'm showing my age and getting old, but I ain't nothing but, you know, 8 years older than Ja. So, you know, I'm not too far gone. So I mean, it's just, you know, you don't got to go all the way there, man. And I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe dudes are just trying to be real street dudes. I mean, but I mean, it ain't the money you making in the league ain't definitely that money is definitely not in them streets. So, you know, but maybe, you know, dudes don't care about that bag. You know, I care about the bag more than anything. So
it's crazy because back when we was coming up, you wore a shiesty mask. It was only for one reason. They wore the shiesty mask as a fashion statement nowadays.
Right. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
back in them late 90s, early 2000s, you seen somebody with a shiesty mask on, you guess you know what's about to happen. It wasn't no. But I think that's what COVID brought it out, man. COVID brought it out. Everybody wanted to, be trendy with their mask, and I get it, man. But you don't need no shiesty mask on no NBA bench, sitting on the sideline. Like for what? Like I don't get it.
Yeah. Cause man, what else is on your mind, man? Any last thoughts, man? Any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up, man? We gonna promise y'all a cold 20, and we gonna make sure we give y'all the coldest 20 that y'all ever seen. we 20 yard dash. So we got a comment, man. Let's see. We got a comment. Okay. Keep doing big things, coach. Need to drop some merch for us and to buy and rock. That came from Blade Lambro.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Blade. Blade was one of my when I coached football, he was one of my D tackles, man. Blade, man. Listen, man. When I say a heart of a killer, Blade wasn't nothing but, man, 5'8", 5'9", maybe 200 pounds soaking wet on it. When he was in the weight room getting heavy and stuff lifting, he might have been 220, but I put a Blade at nose tackle, at 5'9", 220, and that's unheard of at 6'8" football, so shout out to Blade, man. Yeah, Blade, we definitely got some merch coming, man. Definitely got some merch coming. But yeah, shout out to Blade, man. He that's his nickname is Blade. I mean, what that tells you all you need to know.
Hey, yo, speaking of undersized nose tackles, that was dogs. I gotta shout out my dog, Mikey D, Mike Monero from CT. Cause when I tell you, Mikey D was an animal, because he wasn't nothing but about 5'9". He was about a solid 200, 220. But his claim to fame, he'd come in there and tell you, hey, I broke the bench press record that Dwight Freeney set. He broke the Dwight Freeney's bench press record coming out of CT. Real stocky Italian dude. And every time Mikey D lined up on that line, he meant business. I tell you that, it was no joke. He had the quickest first step, you feel me, that was on the team. His first step was the quickest, bar none. As soon as he came off that line, he exploded. And if you take his size for granted, beware, because he's strong as a pit bull. And if he catch you, he's gonna rock you back and he gonna knock you off your feet. He gonna embarrass you out there. I knew, because that was my bro. So every time I lined up against him in practice, I made sure I was on my A game, because yes, I was one of the biggest on the line, but I knew Mikey D was coming with it every time. And he's strong. You feel me? He benching more than a lot of people. He tore his chest muscle back. We was in junior college. So we did 2 years together at Dean, and we went after Dean, we went over to Nichols College together. Us, me, Mikey D, Matty B, Kurt. It was a group of us that came over there. The coach for Nichols, he came on a recruiting visit to Dean College. He looked at all of us. He brought me in a room. He said, listen, I need you to come over here to Nichols. I need you to go ahead and tear something up. We're gonna give you X amount. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. I just need you to come over here and make something happen. Cause man, that summer, I was like, man, I wanted to come back home. I wanted to play closer to home, but the opportunity was out here in Massachusetts, right? So that summer I came back, I came back a little heavier. My playing weight was around 280. That summer I came back, I was like 320. And I was the biggest I ever been. By the way, Blake Lambro, he said, much love. He said, we had some dogs to play on your line. He said, y'all had some dogs over there, cuz.
Oh, yeah. He said we had to be dogs to play on the line. Listen, my bad to interrupt your story, cuz, but one thing I used to tell my D linemen before the summer even started, in order to play for me, don't even ask for me to put you on the field if you don't bench press 315, squat 405, and power clean 235. Until you hit that, the conversation that you getting on the field is not even a question. Like, don't even until you can put 3 plates on that bench press. Don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Go play on JV. You know what I'm saying? I'll call you up when I feel like you're ready. But until then, you had to be a dog to play for me. And it wasn't, and it was more of a mentality thing, the physical thing anyway. You know, you physically had to be ready, but mentally you had to be a dog to play for me. So
what's those 3 things you said, cuz? What's those 3 things you said?
You had to bench press 315 pounds. You had to squat 405 pounds, and you had to power clean 235 pounds.
So what are those 3 exercises going to do for a D lineman? Why are they so critical?
Squat is the most critical. You know what I'm saying? I'll let the other 2 slide a little bit, but if you couldn't put 4 plates on your back and squat it, I don't need you. This is my thing. You're going to be going up against 300-pound linemen for a high school game, probably for about like, 50 to 70 plays, depending on how many, they flow the game. And you got to press that lineman up off of you. You can't have no weak legs, because if you got weak legs, you're going to get driven back, especially being some undersized guy. I've never, and I'll say this again, I've never had a prototypical, I coached since 2012 to 2020. In them 8 years of me coaching, I've never had a prototypical D lineman, 6'5", 280. I've never had that. All my defensive tackles was, I'll be lucky to get a 6-footer out there, so we had to bring something else to the table. But you had to squat 405 pounds, period. There's no way around that. Like, I can't do nothing with you, especially playing a 6A schedule, and we making a run to state every year, at least to regionals. That's wear and tear on your body, and I'm not going to let you hurt yourself out there if you're not physically ready. Then you have to bench 315, bench press. There's 3 plates on the bench on each side. And, for some of my defensive ends, I would let that slide. If you play DN, I would let that slide. If you come up short, you at least have to go 305, 285, something like that. But 315 was my standard. My D tackles, you got to bench 315, no question. And my thing is, I'll show them I can do it. Like, if I can do it, you can do it. And then power clean to 235. That power clean really just shows your explosiveness. Anybody who can power clean, one of the most explosive athletes I've ever seen in my life is a guy named Jewel Hampton. He played running back at Iowa. He also played running back for the San Francisco 49ers. He played running back at Warren Central with me my freshman and sophomore year, and I witnessed him power clean 380 pounds as a junior in high school. So just mind you, being 17 years old, 16 years old, power cleaning 380. There's a lot of grown men training for the Olympics who can't do that, So, and I seen it with my own eyes. So, and that just, I feel like power clean is a test of 2 things: your brute strength and your explosiveness, because you got to be able to do both of those things in order to power clean. So
that makes a lot of sense, cuz this is how I equate it too. If you can squat, if you can get on that rack and squat 4 plates, but that's gonna let me know off the rip you got leg drive. Your bull rush is gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be crazy.
Because if you got a bull rush as a interior lineman, that's one of the best moves I mean, you can be pretty, you can be finesse, but to have that strength in your legs, that's gonna take you a lot of places. So you need to be able to squat. That bull rush is critical to a nose tackle, to an interior lineman, especially when you get double teamed. You got to shed blocks. You gotta have your legs right. Second thing, bench press. What I equate that to is when you engage with an offensive lineman, you got to be able to push them back or get them up off you.
Get them up.
That's why I equate it to. If you can't lock an O lineman, that's where the bench press come in. That's to see who really stronger, who really can get who off of who. Because the bull rush, your squat is gonna drive them back. You want to collapse that pocket, but that bench press is gonna lock them out, and you gotta get them up off you. If you ain't got that, you're gonna have a hard time. So that's why that squat rack, that bench press, and then the power clean, like you said, cause that's explosiveness. How fast is your get off? How quick? How are you moving out there in the field?
How quick can you move your body?
How quick can you move your body, man? So those are all critical components of exercise and the workout when you trying to be an explosive athlete, and a dominant interior defensive alignment and just alignment in period on both sides too. because you're gonna go up against them offensive linemen. Trust them boys they hungry out there.
Right.
Because I used to go out there because when I was playing D-line, I used to go out there, man, pre-snap, even on the field. But when you lining up across from another grown man who's working out just like you, who's in the trenches just like you, man, it brings a different rush.
Right.
Because it'd be some games I'd be out there just
in tears.
Tears. Like, man, he really think he can fuck with me.
Right.
You know, I gotta let him know. I gotta destroy him. You know,
and that's part of psyching yourself out, man. You gotta. One of my, and we're gonna have him on here very soon. Well, a guy that I coached, who coached me and I coached with, was a guy named Corey Clark, and he said something to me years and years ago that always stuck with me. And he said that you got to be a little crazy to play football, man. You have to be a little bit crazy to play football, and you'll notice think about all of the best football players that you know. All of them got something that's kind of wrong with them a little bit. You know, think of Antonio Brown. You know, I mean, I know I'm kind of going over the edge, just, you know, naming, you know, players, but, you know, Ricky Williams, you know, all of these dudes have quirks about them that's not, you know, they're not all the way there. But, you know, Marshawn Lynch said it the best. You know, you gotta. Nobody's gonna sign up for getting hit in their face over and over and over and over. You got to be a little special for that, man. So you're right, cuz you got to psych yourself out there. You know, if you work it out like I do every day, you doing 2 a days like I do 2 a days. You know, you lifting every day, you practicing. What sets us apart? You know, other than physical, you know, size. But the only thing that sets us apart is your mindset. You know, whose mind is stronger. You know, that's it.
So I got another thing too for us, cuz I want to shout out to my cousin on my Pettiford Weaver side of the family. So I'm a Dotson. My grandfather, my grandfather Charles Albert Dotson, he married my grandmother, who was originally Miriam Pettiford, and she's from the Pettiford Weaver line. And so, in my Pettiford Weaver side of my family, I have a cousin. His name is Tahad Pettiford. He's playing at Auburn right now, freshman guard. Over there putting in work, killing. So, as much as I like Walter Clayton Jr. in Florida, now that I know Cuz is over there hooping,
right.
Man, you know,
you got skin in the game.
I got skin in the game, man. Because I always want to see my family shine, and I want to see my family put on for that Pettiford Weaver line. So, shout out to High Pettiford. Shout out to all the Pettifords. We a deep family. Our history goes back a long way. It's actually a city in Indiana named after our family. It's called Weaver, Indiana. If y'all got a chance, look it up and look up that history. Weaver, Indiana. So man, shout out to the Pettiford Weaver, and I'm hoping to see Tahad kill this weekend. So shout out to them. Any last minute thoughts, cuz? Any last minute buzzer beaters that you want to get off your chest?
Yeah, man. Keep locking in with us, man. All platforms, YouTube, most importantly, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Most importantly, subscribe to that YouTube for us, man. We got some great stuff in the works for everybody. It's gonna take us a little time to get there. It's just me and Cuz. We do this every day. Even on the days we don't do it, we doing this. You know, I probably talk to my cousin 3, 4, 5 times throughout the day before we even sit down and hit that live button. So we got some good things in the works for y'all that I think people gonna like. And if you mess with us, you mess with us. If you don't, you don't. You know, we want to hear all the comments though. We want to hear all the commentary, good, bad, and ugly. You know, if you think I'm fat, put it in the comments. You know, if you think I'm handsome, put it in the comments. You know, whatever. Just let me know that you engaged, and we're gonna keep pumping out this content for y'all, man, because that's what we're doing it for.
Cold game.
Four, cold game. First round draft pick.